Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. This video is coming to you late today because I'm having significant internet troubles here at the church, so I'm having to record on my phone, and unfortunately it may reverse something that I was going to show you today, and I apologize if that's the case. So here we go with what I had planned to do. Well, try as I might, I haven't found a name for what I want to show you today. Between fobs for our 2 cars, keys for my house, church keys, and a few others, I carry a lot of keys. I have one of those metal circle things for the keys to be on, and I tend to call that a key ring. But what I want to show you today is the extra thing I have on my key ring, and I don't know what to call that. I've seen some that were plastic or rubber tags, some that were miniature tools, and lots more. But when I look it up, however I could imagine, I saw names like fobs or key rings or key ring holders. We really ought to come up with a name for those extra things that we have on our key rings. Anyway, again, I'm not sure how well this will work, but I want to show you what I carry on my key ring and talk about why I have it. It's a little metal fob or tag, and when you look at it this way, in stylized writing it says saint. But if I simply turn it the opposite way, it says sinner. That's pretty neat, and I carry it to remind myself that I am both at the same time. I am and always will be a sinner. By the grace of God, God has made me now and always one of God's saints. Martin Luther had a phrase to express this, simul justus et peccator, at the same time saint and sinner. It's important for me to remember that I am both, and that even so, God still loves me. This week we are looking at 5 short parables Jesus told, and they are all collected somewhat next to each other in Matthew 13. Today's parable is called the parable of the net, and it might make us a bit uncomfortable. Here's how it goes. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and caught fish of every kind. When it was full, they drew it ashore, sat down, and put the good into baskets, but threw out the bad. Now, to be frank, many believe this parable is about the final judgment. It's not a pretty picture as the bad are thrown out, and we begin to wonder which batch of fish we might be in. But maybe there's something else there too. Perhaps this parable is reminding us that all of us belong to God. In God's kingdom, all are gathered, good and bad alike, saint and sinner alike. Each one of us, with both good and bad inside us. God gathers us all. We each belong. And maybe that's something we should remember in the midst of our world so caught up in its divisions. We are so busy making judgments about one another, deciding who is in and who is out, who is okay and who we don't want any part of, who is like us and who isn't, who is part of our crowd and who isn't. In the midst of our broken world like that, maybe at least part of the message of this parable is that that's not what the kingdom of God is like. In the kingdom of God, all are gathered in. Good, bad, whole, broken, clean, dirty, fresh, and overripe, all are gathered in. God's arms are open to us all. And that last part about the bad being thrown out, well, I wonder if that might mean that God doesn't throw those of us who are bad. Let's try that sentence again. Well, I wonder if that might mean that God doesn't throw those of us who are bad away. Rather, I wonder if that might mean that we are all gathered in, and God casts out the bad within us. The sinner part of us is thrown away, and then God keeps the made new us. That certainly sounds like the kingdom of God. That certainly sounds like the God of love and grace I know. We are all at the same time saint and sinner, made new and claimed by God's love and grace. I hope we are all caught up in that net. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.